in their first go-around, the selection committee got the top 4 teams right.
It's a hard job anyway. This year, harder than ever. They may not come to the same conclusion as Hot Take Radio guys because I can't believe they're number 14 or whatever. That's a load of you-know-what. They watch the games. They may not come to the conclusion you want, but they do.
I run that like Nike, we got it on lock. Everything litty, I love when it's hot.
Hate to spoil the party, but here comes 4 hours of Hot Take Radio, guys, this morning on the day before Thanksgiving. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. As you fellas know that watch college football, everybody out there, the fellas in here, the 2 most important words in college football these days have become, who's in? That's the tagline for the 4 teams that make the playoffs. But until we get there, let's use 4 words. Who's in for now? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Yeah, let's be great today.
Before we dig into it, I mean, last night, outside of the playoff rankings, that was one of the most barren nights of sports we've had in a while. Thank goodness that thing was going on. There was nothing going on last night.
I turned it into an event for myself, to be honest with you.
How so?
Because I cooked, as Jay knows.
Yep.
And once we got off our call, well, I was cooking in the middle of our call. And then once we got off the call, I ate. And then I went downstairs and there turned it into an event. Had a glass of wine, watch it, turned it into an event. It was sharp.
You went with white wine last night. I saw in the picture. What kind of white wine do we go with?
I had a Pinot Grigio.
Oh.
Yeah, I just had a light Pinot.
Easy.
Yeah,
relaxed.
easy.
Yes, I like that.
Nice
style.
and easy.
Yes.
But I felt like I had to turn it into an event because much like you said, it was nothing on, right?
Nothing.
So Jay making fun of me just now in pre-production because I'm scrolling through the television when that went off, and I told Jay I found myself watching Hollywood X's.
Key always finds the most random stuff to watch. It's investigative or some kind of reality show.
Because it's on television, and it's good conversation because some of the stuff that they were saying, I was like, really? Where was I at when all this was going on?
We got to get you on the app. Start watching some 30 for 30s or something like that, man.
I watch them, but I've probably seen a lot of them, so
Yeah.
I don't want to see them again. But yeah, you're right about that though, Zubin. It was like sportless, nothing.
You know me, Zubin. I was hot last night. I was hot that my Ohio State Buckeyes were ranked where they were ranked.
Let's run through the top 4, which were really no surprise. I don't think anybody was stunned at the order, but maybe Jay was with regards to 3 and 4. Let's just run through them from the top real quick, spend a minute on each. We'll dig into it with Heather Dinich. She's going to join us here at 7:15 Eastern this morning, our college football playoff reporter. But let's get your thoughts. Alabama, number 1, predictably, no surprise.
Not to me, not a surprise at all for them to be the number 1 ranked team in all of college football. How many years have we said that?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's been with this college football playoff or the BCS system, every year. When was the last time Nick Saban didn't start a college football season in the top 5 in the country?
Right. We should mention last year was the only year in the history of the playoff Alabama didn't make it. And what do? They just cycle right back and they're the number 1 team.
They didn't make it, but they were in it initially.
No question about it. No question about it. We should mention, a lot of people are wondering, Alabama, when the season started, fellas, they were in a spot where they had given up 91 points in their first 3 games. Ole Miss was scoring every time you turned around. Ole Miss was scoring against them, but they have really tightened up. They've allowed just 20 points in their last 3 games, including pitching a shutout. So their biggest weakness has been solved, and they look like one of the most complete teams Nick Saban's ever had.
I mean, Nick Saban said it himself personally that this is the best team he's ever had. And Key said it during our pre-production meeting. Look, we have pandemic fatigue. Key was also like, we have Alabama fatigue.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you get that, though. It's like I got Duke basketball fatigue, right, for so many years. Oh, Duke's going to be, okay, they're going to win. That's just how it is. When you're at the top of the mountain, people kind of get tired of you to a degree. It's like, I'm tired of watching Alabama. Do I want to see them run shop on somebody in the playoffs again?
Beat Texas A&M 52-24. The number 5th ranked team in the country. Beat UGA by 20 points. I mean, close to 20 points.
Well, the last time,
dominate everybody.
The last time Alabama, just off the top of my dome, which means my head, Zubin.
Zubin, your dome looks mighty sharp, by the way. Congratulations on the first haircut.
Just off the top of the dome, the last time Texas A&M beat Alabama was Johnny Manziel. How long ago was that?
That was probably like 2012. That was that crazy, crazy game where they went into T-Town 1 and then Manziel won the Heisman later that year. So that was 2012. That's a really long time ago. On the other side, Notre Dame is number 2, fellas. I think it's pretty obvious here. They have, I don't care who was playing quarterback, our boy DJU or Trevor Lawrence. It is the best win of the season. And when you are undefeated and have the best win of the season, you deserve that spot.
You do deserve it. again, I don't know where this ends for Notre Dame, right? Because I know a lot of people are looking at this Notre Dame-North Carolina game and basically giving Notre Dame a W in the win column because they beat Clemson. I'm not so bullish on saying that North Carolina will not scare the living you-know-what out of Notre Dame or clip them because Mac Brown can coach. And they got a really good football team, and they got a phenomenal quarterback. So you got to just, as you like to tell me, Zubin, this game, watch this game. Notre Dame, North Carolina. Just watch it. Watch it close.
I'm just taking a deep breath for a second about Notre Dame. Granted, they beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence. DJU threw for 300-plus yards. Incredible game. They found a way to win. But North Carolina, Key, will be the second-ranked team that they played all season long.
Well,
So,
I mean,
I'm just saying, second-ranked team that they're playing this week.
I get it. You play who's in front of you.
I understand.
And Notre Dame does deserve to be, because in my opinion, whether Trevor Lawrence played or not, that particular day, that particular night was Notre Dame's. Notre Dame was destined to win that game because for whatever reasons, it was like set up for them to win, right? It was one of those deals. Hey, Notre Dame, 1 minute, they were not going to have any fans in the stands. And then the next minute, right, Zubin?
Right.
I was like,
They're all
when
in the
Coach
field.
Kelly was on with us originally, prior to the game, he said there was not going to be any fans in the stands. And then when I looked at it on the game, on the television, I was like, I thought there was no fans in the stands, but they let the students in. So I understand that. But they were destined to win that football game no matter who was at quarterback.
I'm not saying they don't deserve it. They're number 2 in the country. Respect to Notre Dame and Coach Kelly for what they've been able to accomplish. I'm just saying I'm taking a deep breath.
No,
from
I
them.
understand.
That's all.
They're ranked number 2, but they may not be the best number 2 team in the country.
Fair enough. That's the deal at this point. Notre Dame, North Carolina, by the way, on your local ABC station, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. And as Key said, watch out for North Carolina quarterback Sam Howell. All the attention on Ian Book, but Sam Howell flipped from Florida State, and he has flipped the fortunes of the Tar Heels. Now it gets interesting. At number 3, Jay, you ready for this? Here comes one-loss Clemson ahead of the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. Before I get your thoughts on this, here's the reasoning of the guy that counts the most, Gary Barta. He's the chairman of the College Football Playoff Committee. He's also the athletic director at the University of Iowa, Big Ten ties. So just want to mention that for context, explaining why Clemson is 3 with the loss and Ohio State at undefeated is behind them.
Well, the discussion, starting with Clemson, they've really dominated every team that they've played against, other than, of course, the number 2 team in Notre Dame, and they were short. They didn't have Trevor Lawrence. They didn't have some of their best defenders, but they've got a solid win against a Miami, 10th-ranked Miami team. And at the end of the day, the committee just decided that Clemson deserved that number 3 slot.
What do you think, Jay?
This is my frustration with the committee. It's so subjective. And I heard Joey Galloway talk about this. Everybody on the committee now is watching tape and they're dissecting who they think is a better team. But Zubin, it almost feels as if the committee is holding it against the Big Ten for what happened with them getting a late start, them not playing as many games, Key. Now, the Big Ten, Ohio State's only played 4 games. Okay, their last game against Maryland was canceled before they came out and they beat IU. I understand the way they beat IU probably wasn't the most dominant fashion, and I understand that Clemson did lose without Trevor Lawrence, but DJU, the quarterback for Clemson, I mean, he threw for 439 yards, Zubin, 2 touchdowns,